This is the contest leaderboard question that was part of the homework in chapter 12. I thought I'd go over this. It might help you with the other questions out of the Chinook database. So the problem. We need to find the total score of hackers. So yeah, total score of hackers is the sum of their maximum scores for all challenges. So write a query to print the hacker ID, name, and total score of the hackers ordered by the descending score. And if more than one hacker receive the same total score, then we're going to sort by the hacker ID. And we want to exclude any hacker with the total score of 0 from the results. We have two tables. We have a hackers table and a submissions table. The hackers table looks like we have an ID, hacker ID, matches to the submission table of hacker ID. So the first step would be to join the tables together. So we'll solve that problem. So we'll have something in select. Not sure yet. We need to join the hackers, and I'll abbreviate it as H. And we need to join submissions, and we'll just abbreviate it as S. So we already found out that hacker ID is the ID that will link the two tables on. So from the hackers table, using the hacker ID column, set it equal to the submissions table, hacker ID column. So I'm going to go ahead and execute to see if that will work. I need to put an asterisk here so I don't get an error. So we get a large amount of output, more than we need. We're wanting to see hacker ID, name, and total score. But it has to be the total score of the maximum of each challenge. So if they did a challenge 15 times, we want to only get the maximum score off of that. So how do we do this? We probably need to group by. Well, first, we need to look at the hacker ID. We also need to look at the hacker name. I'm going to go ahead and create an alias for each of these columns, make it easier. So I'm going to just name that hack, and I need to put an as hack, and then the name. Name it as, I guess I should lowercase those. And then as, say, H name. Just making up names here. And we want to find all of the maximum scores. So we're actually going to have to do a subquery. We're going to find all the maximum scores, and then we're going to have to, out of that output, that basically a temporary table that's created, we're going to have to add the maximum scores up for the hacker ID. So all the maximum scores from all the challenges. So I'm going to use an aggregate function max, and that is on the submission table, I believe, in a column called score. So I only want the maximum score to be outputted. and I'll just abbreviate it as SC. Okay, so we need the maximum scores. So I need to group by the hacker ID and every column we're displaying has to be grouped by. The hacker ID and hacker name should go together. So we shouldn't have any trouble grouping those two columns. And then I need to group the challenge. So I'm going to group by the hacker ID and the name. We'll link those together. And then if the hacker ID and name have multiple single challenge IDs, we're going to group those together and only pull the maximum score out of that. So S dot challenge ID should get us what we need. So this table has hacker ID and name, so that groups those into one, collapses them down into one grouping. And then for each of those, the challenge ID, again, the hacker ID and name could have tried the challenge multiple times. Each time they submit a challenge, the submission ID would increment. So this would be different for each one they submit. We could have multiple challenge IDs. So like I said, 15 times they may have tried something. They'll have 15 different submission IDs, but they'll have the same challenge IDs. So we need to group all of the same challenge IDs into one and look at them for the maximum score. So that's what we're doing. We're pulling the maximum score after we look at the hacker ID and their name and group by the challenge ID. So if I run code, we should come up. We have the maximum score that they got for each of the challenges. So this gives us basically a temporary table. So we've narrowed this down. I don't know how to go ahead and add up the maximum score with this select statement. So this is actually going to have to go as a subquery. I'm going to go ahead and surround this with parentheses because this gives us an output of the hacker ID, hacker name, and the maximum score of each challenge that they did. Now I have to group by the hacker name, basically, and the hacker ID, and add up the scores for each of the ones that they did. But I need to eliminate any of them that have 0. So I'm going to go ahead and select and I need to view hack. I need to view hname because I changed what the column headings were. So right now I've created this subtable with this select statement, and it outputs, it doesn't show the column headings here, but the column headings are going to be now called hack, hname, and sc. So I'm going to select to display hack, the hacker name, and then I need to sum up all of their scores. So sum up all of their scores that were maximum from this temporary table that we generated. So we have a column of hacker ID, hacker name, and the scores. So I need to group by the hacker ID and the hacker name, because down here the hacker ID and hacker name will show up multiple times for all the maximum scores of each challenge. So if we group those together, then we can sum those scores. Before I do that, let's look at some output just to make it a little more clear. Instead of summing it, let's just do an order by. Order by the hacker ID. And let's go ahead and execute that. So as we see, when we order by, I have a 486 and a 486 rows submitted 2 different challenges. The maximum score on one challenge was 45. The maximum score on another challenge was 22. So if I group the hacker ID and rows together and then run a sum on the score column, it will add those together. So I'm going to group by hack and hacker name, and I want the sum, the score column up. I'll go ahead and do a order by hack, and so 45 and 29 added together should be 75, I believe, if I run think real quick at math. So this here should show that rows, oh, I added wrong, 74. Yep, that's right. So now I'm seeing that I'm getting the maximum score, all of them added together. And it wanted it ordered by hack, and it also wanted it ordered next by, no it didn't, yeah. Let me get rid of the order by. What do I need to do next? I need to get rid of any of them that had a 0 sum. So having a sum so all these people down here that had 0 score, I don't want to see those. So where the sum is greater than 0, so I've eliminated those rows of people that scored 0 on their submissions. So still getting wrong answer. The last thing it wanted me to order it by the sum in descending order, and then by the hacker ID. So that's where I'll come in here with order by the sum of the score column in descending order. And then by the hacker ID, which we just used as hack. I should probably follow my upper lowercase standard throughout, make those lowercase there. So this code should work now. and we got a correct one. So we had to create basically a subtable first. Find the maximum, display the hacker ID, the hacker name, and the max score of each challenge. And then we had to write another query to sum each of the maximum scores of each of the challenges by the hacker ID and hacker name, eliminate those scores which were 0, and then order them by the score, the highest score first, in descending order to the lowest score. And then if two had the same score, we ordered them by hacker ID. So several scored 540. So we look at hacker ID. It wanted hacker ID in ascending order, so it went from 74,000 to 83,000 is what the directions were saying. So hopefully that will help. You'll have to do something similar to that on probably question 2 and possibly question 3. Or definitely question 3. I think question 2 is an update statement. You'll have to write a subquery and use a where in the set statement.